beauties, Shaz here, and we are going to do another to buy or not to buy it video today. In these videos I talk about new makeup that has either released or is about to release, and I'm gonna try to talk myself out of buying it on camera. I don't need so much makeup. I can dupe most of these. I already have a whole lot of makeup. Hopefully in the process, I can inspire you also to buy less makeup and use the makeup that you already have. If that sounds good, go ahead and give a thumbs up and let's jump into the video. Okay friends, candle for today is spiced pumpkin, the same one I used last time. I have some tea here and no surprises for the palette that I'm going to use because I already revealed it on my community tab. We're using the dupe of a Chicago Speakeasy Palette from Nomad. I had fun duping this. The dupe itself is going to be a separate video coming soon. Let's jump in. And yes, I know my chair is very squeaky. It is what it is. What can I do? And I can't afford to buy another chair, although I probably need one. You'll know why if you watched my last video. Let's jump in because I don't want this video to be super long. First of all, the beautiful peacock feather inspired palettes. That was a collab between DD Signature and Makeup on Your Radar, which is one of the channels that I use for making contents of this video. Channel tag below. It's an Instagram channel. That collab seems to be on sale for 30% off, so if you were waiting, now might be your chance. Again, beauties, giving the disclaimer that these videos are not supposed to make you feel bad if there's makeup that you're intending to purchase that I kind of talk against or I try to influence you not to buy. The purpose of these videos is to become more mindful shoppers. Think before we buy, because I know for a fact that I'm one of those people that when I see beautiful things, sometimes I just buy. Sometimes I buy and then I think, did I really need this? And beauties, I saw this one from Simple Echo. It's so cute. Like, things like this get me. I love the embossing. It's so cute. I'm telling you, this month is my month, which is exactly why we're on a no buy. It's a red matte, which is a shade that I keep saying I don't have. And by the way, beauties, I figured out where to find red mattes. We'll talk about them in the video where I show you how I duped this, and I'll tell you which palette I pulled that red matte from. If you can guess, you can write in the comments below. Yeah, so this is something sneak peeking from Simple Echoes. I don't know what it is, but I'm already liking it. We have Cult Beauty revealing their holiday set Chick Thrills edit. I kind of mentioned I'm going to do a separate holiday sets video, but oh well, we're talking about it. Not for me. I have enough face stuff and you don't need this much stuff on your face. You know, okay, these types of boxes are fantastic if there's a product in them that you're like, this product I always wanted to test. I don't want to go pay full price for it because I don't know if it's going to work for me. I just want to test. When in reality, you can get testers of most products from these like Sephora's of the world. So do you even need to buy testers? I don't know. And as somebody who would buy these kinds of things, a lot of them would just stay around the house, because at the end of the day, there's always this question of, if I'm using a small container of this thing, can I really evaluate if it works for me? You know, is there enough product in this that I can tell if this is good for my skin, good for my hair, or whatever? In certain cases you can, but in certain other cases there's not enough product in it for you to know whether you want it. Now, for makeup items, it's a little different because with smaller eyeshadow pans, you can still get the same effect. You know, a lot of these creams or treatments you need to use for months before you get results. And I don't know if these smaller containers really have enough product in them. And I'm telling you all this from experience. Anyway, that was enough about that. Moving on, we have something sneak peeking from Natasha Denona. Rocks a palette, and judging from the outside, I like to think this is purple. This is going to be their holiday 2024 launch. I'm curious to see. Natasha Denona is definitely a brand I like to try at some point. They need to show us more colors for me to try them, but definitely a brand on my radar. We have this from Say's Candy, which looks like a giant lip box for $240. Beauties, you're not gonna have time to use all of these shades among all the other shades you probably already own for lips. Okay, this is one that I am pretty excited about, but it's gonna release. When is it releasing? I don't know. I remember it was in October, and I'm on a no by October, so this would be one of the things that would be hard to not buy. The 2 eyeshadow palettes from Dia Varun. Spooky Frandoween, I think is the name of the collection. You have 2 palettes, each $39. Particularly the one that is more colorful is definitely up my alley. I'm also excited about that shade in the center, which looks kind of like 2 different shades or kind of marbled. You all know, if you've watched my past videos, that a lot of marbled shades might not show up as how you would expect them, because it might look like particular shades in the pan, but when you swirl it, it might show completely different. But this would definitely be a palette I would pick up if I wasn't on a no buy. They also dropped a few single press shadows with these. They're $14, which I think are a little bit borderline for me, and wet liners for $9. I have used Dia Varun, their first palette, and I liked it. I have some looks with it on my... Did I post any looks in this channel? I don't think so, but I've definitely posted looks on my Instagram with their very first palette, The Moth and the Moon. And I still really love that palette. They had pretty good quality, very shifty multi-chromes. But you all know I'm in a money crunch, so Martine Cosmetics, or Martine Cosmetics, because I think this is the French brand. I have not heard of them in a while, and they all of a sudden drop this super colorful circus-inspired collection. This is a brand I like to try, and this palette totally would be up my alley because, you know, it's super colorful. And in all honesty, 18 Ultra pigmented shades for $65, not bad. We've been seeing, what, like 12 pans for that price? So not a bad price either for today's market, of course. But I'm on a no buy, so no. And again, beauties, now you might say, well, if you're on a no buy, why are you even making a video like this? You're not going to buy anything. No, that's not entirely correct. There are things that I'm going to put on my to buy list when my no buy is over, because it's just going to be 1 month. Frankly, by the time some of these things come out, I'm probably done with my no buy. Okay, we have this sneak peek for a Christmas palette from Be Perfect Cosmetics. They also have not really had anything recently, or maybe they have and I've just not seen. And this palette is very bland for my taste. Neutrally not interested. Also, Be Perfect Cosmetics' palettes are usually giant. I don't need a giant palette. I want something tiny I can use, I can enjoy, and then move on from. Okay, let's get started on the look. I'm gonna continue using Party Proof from Colourpop. This is the translucent one, by the way. I realize they have more than one type. I'm gonna use my Cinch brushes today. Quickly mentioning that I've had these brushes for a little over a year now, and I'm already seeing cracks on the handle and, you know, chipped paint on the handles. Also, one of the heads, I think it was this one, at some point you can see it's like kind of tilted. At some point it came out. I know I've reviewed these early on when I got them. I have a review of them I'll tag somewhere, so giving you an updated review of how I feel about them now that I've had them for more than a year. I like them. I still love the fact that the heads are pretty small, and I continue to use them and reach for them, and they've been very much used. But keep in mind that there are some issues if you hold them for a very long time. Now, somebody could argue that, you know, they've already aged. Like at this point, you should invest in a new set. But the truth is that I do keep my brushes for quite some time. I've had brushes that I've used for way, way longer than a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years even, and that perform fantastic and have not had similar issues. Also quickly mentioning, now that I realize, the nails. For this week, I've done the same kind of shift on the two hands, but these are two different nail polishes. Both of the polishes that I have this week are purple with a silver shift. This one is Cleona's Different Dimension, and it's a lot more silvery than the other one that I'm going to show. Also, when you bring the magnetic effect, it's going to turn kind of purple and pink, as you see there. And the magnetic effects are a lot more prominent and a lot more visible on my nails. But the particles in it are super, super fine and small. And the one I have on my left hand is from Cadillac. This one literally looks like it's just a bunch of silver and purple glitters put in a container. And after you do your nails, even on my nails, even after magnetizing it, it's more difficult to see the magnetized effect. But let me quickly bring the magnet and show you how it changes. You see, it's not as easy to get that magnetic effect. I don't know why. Let's try again. I mean, you get a little bit of a magnetic effect, but not really. And it's pretty much the same thing on my nails. It's beautiful though. These Cadillac nails, all of them, at least the collections that I have, look like they're made of glitter, and they're so beautiful on your hand. Okay, I'm picking EO2, going into this red. And yes, I finally found a true matte red in my collection. And this is kind of going in my crease. I asked you all to put down in the comments below what shade you think this is. I'm gonna help you all. This is from one of my palettes from Colourpop. And I'm going to use the fluffier one, EO4. And I'm gonna go into this one, the cream color, and blend the edges into my skin. I know that doing this is safe because this is a warm toned neutral color, and you can blend it with red and not have like muddying issues or anything like that. Okay, back to this. Let's talk about this one. A 16-pan palette from Fantasy Cosmetica, and in all honesty, I like this color story. Although this photo needs better lighting because it's kind of hard to see what these should really look like. But the color story is beautiful. It's very fall appropriate, and it has the warm aspects and also then the spooky aspects, at least from what I can decipher from this photo. It also looks like they're now having 2 new candles, and you all know I love candles, but I think I can dupe this palette. Let me know if you all want me to dupe it. Holo Taco, everybody, is having their birthday collection, and I saw swatches of this and they look so beautiful, but none of this is something I don't have. Also, I just bought the Halloween release from Cleona. I also think I might end up buying, if Cleona does advent calendars like they did last year, and I bought it and I did unboxing for you all. So no, moving on. Although Holo Taco is definitely a brand I want to try at some point. This is releasing from, or has released from, Cosmetics. No, is releasing October 20th. Tulip Dream, $32 for 5 pans. You know, I'm starting to get desensitized to the prices. I am pretty sure I can dupe this palette. Or at least I like to think I can dupe it. It's very hard to even know what these shades are. I think it has 3 mattes and 2 multichrome shades. Maybe one of them is a holochrome. Yeah, I don't have a lot of description either. I'm gonna assume I can dupe it because, well, it would be very hard for me to not be able to dupe something because I have a ginormous collection. We didn't talk about this one last week, now did we? Glam Lights collab with Michael Myers. And now this palette is an interesting, cool-toned, deeper version of their collab with Frosted Flakes. It's the blues, some neutrals, and oranges, right? And we all know blues and oranges are complements. So that's why these kinds of shades together work. I can probably dupe this. I'm also not that excited about it. You all were not either, evidently, judging by the fact that not many of you voted for me to dupe this in my community tab. Some of the shades in the palette are nice, but I'm kind of over Glamlight collabing with all of these spooky movies. They need to stop that. Now, I like Glamlight's matte quality, and in all honesty, their palettes are pretty reasonably priced. So if you or somebody who's absolutely in love with this and you're like, this is totally missing from my collection, I understand. I'm not judging you. So don't forget to use someone's code to get some money off on top of that if that's what you're doing. But this is totally not missing from my collection. So moving on. There's also this one releasing from Notoriously Morbid. I kind of feel like I've seen a palette like this in the past years from Notoriously Morbid, but not the outside packaging. If there was such a thing, it was named something different. It's fall, y'all, and super, super cute packaging, but it's not missing in my collection, so I'm passing. We also have this one from NBA Cosmetics. Who needs this in 2024, almost 2025? This looks like something from 2018. Let's talk about this one, which is a collab between Blend Bunny and Robert Welsh. Now, this is a gorgeous 30 pan palette, and it's very much structured in the Blend Bunny OG structure of having, you know, rose being more or less the same shade, light to dark, and then shimmers and all that. So I think a lot of people are gonna love this, and a lot of people are gonna buy it. Of course, Robert Welsh also has like a few million followers, so definitely a lot of people are going to be fans, but it's not missing from my collection. I have these shades. In fact, some of these shades look very similar to the shades from their, was it Sugar and Grunge palette? I forget the name of the palette that got discontinued because somebody sued them for the name. That palette. I have that. And some of these rows look very similar to the shades in that palette. And then some of them also look like some of the shades in some of their other discontinued palettes that I still own and I still use and I still love. So I don't need to add this to my collection, but $48 for 30 shades, that's a very good price. And Blend Bunny has fantastic matte quality, but I'm passing. Look, I'm gonna go with E01 into this purple shade and begin deepening this out, and then I'm gonna bring it under, and I'm gonna use this lighter purple to blend it out. Okay, this is a little bit too light. Maybe you could use the other purple, but oh well, I already used this. Okay, I'm liking this. Let's continue. There is this one's from CXC Lab. Did we talk about this one? I can't remember. This is Unleash the Magic of Raven's Revenge, and the palette's $60, and it has quite a number of shades in it, and it's very full winter sort of color story. I also like the lipsticks, but I don't have any budget for something like this. I can dupe it. I love seeing these and getting inspired by them, but I just don't have the money. Let's also talk about this one, Wicked Widow Beauty. Although this photo is computer generated, this is not an actual palette. This is nice. I mean, I do feel like there is some redundancy there, like the two green shades. How different are they? The two shimmer green shades. Well, one is cool toned, one is light toned, but did you need both? The two brown shades. I don't know. I feel like this photo is not doing it justice. It's nice. It doesn't capture my attention as much, possibly because of the redundancy in the shades. Also, I feel like when you have a colorful background, it's much more difficult to really see the shades in the palette and mentally put them together because that background is overshadowing things. I don't think I ever talked about this. NBA Cosmetics' Beetlejuice Quad. This is kind of cute. Although I have a single similar to these 4 shades already, so I'm not going to go buy this, but it's a cute little quad. Dandelions Co. is definitely a brand that a lot of you have told me has fantastic mattes, and you all have raved about their singles, and it's definitely on sort of the top of my list of brands to try. And they are sneak peeking a palette called the Shadow Realm. I'm guessing this palette is going to be releasing for Halloween. And the reason I'm kind of not so happy about that is because I'm on a no buy. But hopefully if the color story is interesting, it's going to stick around so that I can have an opportunity to pick it up if I want. We also have this from Beauty Moon. I think it's a collaboration with Ice Cream Beauty Box. An all pink 12 pan palette. I have a lot of opinions of this, but it's for breast cancer month, so I understand why they would do a monotone palette. But maybe they could have done a smaller palette. Or they could have done something a little more exciting. Like Gal on Mars, anybody from Gloss Gods? That was an all pink palette and it was more exciting. But let me finish off this look. I have been wanting to use the green. I actually thought about maybe using purple, but no, I want to use green. So I have 2 options here. One is from Terra Moons, one is from JD Glow. They are both kind of green with a shift of sort of light teal. I'm going to use the Terra Moons one. Let me grab my NYX glitter primer. Again, if you're curious to know what shades I'm using, I'm going to put the name of the shade that I've used in the description below, and you can also watch the swatch videos of this palette when it becomes available, and you're going to see what all the shades are. So this is the green. It's such a beautiful green. I'm just tapping it because when you use your fingers, it can go everywhere. I'm picking up a little bit of it on a brush and I'm just fixing this edge. The shade from Terra Moons has a purpley pinky shift that really goes with the purple that I picked. And then the green really contrasts the red. You all remember the 2 shades are considered complements. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll tag my color theory playlist for you all. You can check that out. Now these kinds of flaky shades accentuate a little bit the texture on your lid. I'm not yet at the age to be super worried about that, but just letting you all know, maybe the shade from JD Glow is a better option because it's a lot more smooth if that's what you want. This one also has a warm tone shift. The other one doesn't. It's pretty much 100% cool tone, as you can see. Unearthly Cosmetics has sneak peeked this, Just a Taste. I'm curious to see what this is. And Glisten Cosmetics has dropped an advent calendar. A lot of brands' beauties have dropped advent calendars. If you're interested in a brand's advent calendar, check out their site. It might have dropped an advent calendar. So make sure you're not missing out on those advent calendars if that's what you're looking for. This one is available for pre-order. I'm not sure if I want to do pre-orders. Anyway, not that I needed eyeliners. We also have this very exciting sneak peek from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. They seem to be working on a new palette. They also expanded their Glistening Creatures collection, and now they have the volume 4. I have the first 2 volumes of this, or do I have 3 volumes? I have some volumes of this. There are so many collections coming out, beauties, that if you have a giant collection, sometimes like me, you forget what you even own. I have the first 2 volumes of this collection. They released last year and I bought them and I love them. They truly look like tiny glitters on your hand, but doesn't mean I need new ones. Okay, I put Atlantic City Long Lasting Liquid Lips from Ofra on my lips. I'm now gonna use NYX's Passport Afterlife Republic of All Souls collab with Beetlejuice. This is a Colourpop F30 brush. I'm going to go quickly into this one. This one is very pigmented. I've used it in another video. You know what? I'm just gonna mix it with this one. And then a little bit on my nose. Okay, I'm liking this look. Let's now go into the last thing, which is Colourpop collabing with Bratz. Was this missing from anybody's collection? Remove the hot pink, and it's the most bland palette you've ever seen, at least from this photo, which is 100% computer generated. Okay, I give it to them. That teal also looks pretty, but those two shades literally drive the color story of this palette. You remove those and it's gonna look super bland. I think I'm a little bit old for Bratz. I also didn't grow up in the US. Obviously, these sorts of collabs are targeted towards people who are huge fans of the collaborators. You know, if this was with Snoopy, maybe I would have felt different because I just love Snoopy. So I get that, but still, the collab itself needs to be at least borderline interesting. Like, for example, the Twilight collab was at least interesting. This one, not so much. The lip combos look nice, but not for me because I have a lot of lip stuff, a lot of them from Colourpop. Yeah, how much is this? The whole thing is $124, which is insane. The palette at least is just $26, and I can't believe I'm saying this because like a few years ago a palette like this from Colourpop was like $15, and now we are totally happy with it being $10 more. Yeah, definitely not for me. I also don't know if the photo is doing it justice. Maybe some of those shimmer shades look very distinct, but from this photo they kind of blend into the same shade. So maybe they could have done a better job of just marketing this. And with that, beauties, we come to the end of this video, but hang tight because I'm going to show you a close-up of this look before the very end. Don't forget to write to me in the comments below what makeup you managed to talk yourself out of buying this week. Also, check out my to buy or not to buy playlist that's going to show up on the screen at the end of the video. Now let's take a look at this look. Beauties, I love you all. Have an amazing week and amazing day. And until next time, bye.